Hello everybody, Moarhammer here, and I've got another battle report for you. Sorry for the fact that some of these battle reports have been a bit few and far between, but the game's been a bit thin on the ground since the General's Handbook will be dropping very soon, so hopefully my lull in games will pick up soon. This is a pretty cool game. It's my Demons of Tzeentch, which I have a brand new army list for, against a Blades of Khorne list, which is mostly my models my friend is using, but it's still a pretty fun game. So I'll go to my list. So first of all, I've got the Overseer's Fate Twisters War Squad Battalion, and what that does is threefold. Firstly, as long as the Lord of Change is alive, you can, every hero phase, you can add another Destiny dice to your Destiny pool, and it allows him to re-roll the result of any dice in your pool already, so that's quite cool. The main thing it does though is as long as there are 8 or more units in the battalion left, if you use Destiny dice, you can instead roll and then substitute them in, so that's really cool. It might actually hopefully be really effective at using it exactly where you need to rather than in case you roll, so it could be a really good way of efficiently using Destiny dice. So yeah, we've got my Lord of Change. He's got phantasmal weapons as kind of usual. Then I've got the Blue Scribes. He's going to do his normal thing. I've got the Changeling. He's just going to. I'm trying him out again. I'm just going to use him as a kind of a annoying piece. But I'm giving it another shot. I've used him before. I didn't really like him, but new army, new features. So giving it a go. We've also got a Herald of Tzeentch on disc and a Herald of Tzeentch on foot as well. So they are part of the battalion. Then I've got 2 Burning Chariots and 2 Exalted Flamers. So all of what you've just heard is part of the Overseer's Fate Twisters Battalion, and that is 1 drop. Then I have 3 units of 10 Pink Horrors. These rise in my battle line, and they're just going to be shooting spells and moving around and capturing objectives. And then I have additionally a Gaunt Summoner on a disc. This guy's main role is to have glimpse of the future, so he can get a Destiny dice as well. So the idea is the army should be really efficient in its use of Destiny dice, and hopefully that'll work quite nicely. So I'll jump right into the game. So here's a picture of deployments, and honestly, sorry about the board. It's a bit difficult to see what's actually going on because of the board. It's a really cool looking game mat, but it's a bit difficult to see what's going on. I'll try my best to talk you through it. So on his side, starting on the far left, he's got a unit of Skull Reapers and a unit of Blood Warriors in front of them. Then in the centre, you can see he's got a Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster sitting a bit further towards the back. In front of there, you've got 3 Slaughter Priests and a Blood Secretor. So those guys are coming as part of the Gore Pilgrims, which is kind of cool. Then he's got a Murder Host to the right of them. So he's got 2 units of 5 Fleshhounds, a unit of 10 Bloodletters, and a Herald of Khorne, and a Bloodmaster, or Skullmaster, whichever one it is. And they're all kind of sitting in that centre bit. And to the right of that, he's got a unit of 40, count them, 40 Blood Reavers, and a Korgoroth. So, big block of angry men. But yeah, it should be alright. I mean, he's got quite a lot of anti-magic. He's got a Brazen Rune hidden in there on his Blood Secretor. His Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster was his general, and he had the Warlord trait where if you kill a hero or monster, you get an extra Blood Tithe. And he also had the Mark of the Blood Reaper, which if you do 8 or more wounds in combat, you get an additional Blood Tithe. So he's going for quite a lot of Blood Tithe. Also, it's worth mentioning that all 3 of his Slaughter Priests had the Blood Sacrifice prayer, a Blood Blessed prayer. So they're going to be doing that as well and getting some extra Blood Tithe. So I think he was counting on getting quite a few Blood Tithes up and using them that way, which is quite cool. I like the idea. So because he's got a Murder Host, he gets a 2d6 move before the start of the game, and everything kind of comes forward like this. So he's got 2 units of Fleshhounds that are kind of nearly halfway up the board, and a unit of Bloodletters. Oh, I should mention, we're playing 3 places of power as well. So 3 central objectives, controlled by characters, which is quite good for me, I think, because I can probably assassinate most of his characters fairly quickly, and mine are quite fast, so I should be able to duck in and out of objectives, capturing where I need to. So that was my kind of plan. But yeah. So because he He finished deploying first, which was actually an interesting part because I've got a 5-drop army. It's not my usual thing, but it did mean I got to deploy most of my army in retaliation to him, which I quite liked, so that was cool. But he did choose to go first, and he did something very unexpected, and I mean, it really catch me off guard quite badly. Okay, so let me talk you through it. 2 of his slaughter priests used the blood sacrifice on the Herald of Khorne. So it's D3 more wounds on the unit, and you get +1 Blood Tithe. So he did that twice, and he killed the Herald. I was thinking, okay, fine, so you've killed the Herald and you've got 2 Blood Tithe for it. But then he pointed out that he also gets a 3rd for the Herald of Khorne. So, okay, he's got 3 Blood Tithe. So he uses those 3 Blood Tithe points immediately to move his Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster, that uses his command ability on himself so he can run and charge, and he just plows him 16 inches up the middle of the board in the hero phase. He then casts Blood Sacrifice on some Blood Reavers again, gets an extra Blood Tithe, and then he goes into his movement phase. Look at where his Bloodthirster is. I was like, ah! Don't know what's good. So he powered him halfway up the board in his hero phase, moved him the rest in his movement phase, and now he was sitting pretty right in front of my lines, and that scared me. Fortunately, there were only pink horrors he was in front of, so I still wasn't too worried, but still, that was that was a cool trick. Otherwise, everything else comes really far forward. And as far forward as it can. I do half the move of the Blood Reavers. It was the only thing at that point I could half the move of. His Slaughter Priest, one of his 3 Slaughter Priests in the middle, hops onto the middle objective to start scoring points there. So we go into the charge phase, and his Bloodthirster charges in, manages to go over the top of my pink horrors and get into the Herald of Tzeentch that's just kind of behind that line there. He also managed to get a 6/6 charge on 5 of his Flesh Hounds that slam into the pink horrors, so that was okay. So he goes with his Herald of Tzeentch first, and he absolutely annihilates him. He puts all his attacks on him, and he does. This is the damage roll, so what's that? 3, 6, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 damage to my Herald of Tzeentch. Okay, if you want to overkill him badly, then that's cool by me. So he gets a few Blood Tithe. He gets 1 for killing a unit. He gets 1 for killing a character because that's his command trait. And he gets +1 for doing over 8 damage in a single round of combat. So he gets an extra 3 Blood Tithe. Cool. Not too fussed about that. Then his Flesh Hounds attack. And they managed to kill 7, 8 pink horrors. 7. Yeah, 7 pink horrors. Quite a few. But that's okay. I do nothing back, unsurprisingly. I do use a 1 from my Destiny pool to trigger the pink horrors to come back. Unfortunately, because he killed my Herald of Tzeentch, I no longer have the Overseer's Fate Twister battalion ability to use Destiny dice afterwards. So the main advantage of that battalion was already gone down, so that was a bit disappointing. Couldn't even try it out. So we go into my turn. So, in his hero phase, he used Blood Sacrifice 3 times. 1 was after he moved the Bloodthirster. So he had a Blood Tithe. Then he gets 3 Blood Tithes for killing my Herald of Tzeentch. And then it turns out that 4 on the Blood Tithe chart is to pile in an attack. So he piles in and murders my Blue Scribes. Which I was very sad about. I don't know what else to do. Not much. He did that first. My Lord of Change is out of range of him, so it was not looking good at all. I'm 2 characters down. Got a Bloodthirster in my lines, but we still go into my turn. So I do cast some spells. I cast pretty much as I can. I ignore the rest of his army. I put as many spells as possible into the Bloodthirster. He does dispel one of my spells, I think. I do put Fold Reality onto the pink horrors again, and I bring another 4 or 5 of them back, which is really cool. But after all is said and done, I've done 7 wounds to the Bloodthirster with spells. Not bad, but it's really not good enough. I also do manage to shoot and spell off quite a few of the flesh hounds, so 4 of them die, which is pretty cool. In the shooting phase, in the movement phase, I move a couple of things around. I move my Lord of Change and the Gaunt Summoner right towards the Bloodthirster, but that's about it. In the shooting phase, my Burning Chariots and Exalted Flamers, they just put all of their pew-pew into the demons in the middle. I kill all of the Bloodletters and all of the Flesh Hounds that were in the middle there, so that was really, really good. I also fly my Herald on a disc up to that central objective, kind of hoping I get a double turn here so that I can really start racking up objectives and points and start causing other stuff to go away a little bit. So in the charge phase, I charge my Lord of Change into the Bloodthirster. Now, I do this because I'm pretty sure I can kill him. My Gaunt Summoner has the artifact that allows me to re-roll wound rolls of 1 for demons. So I push in my Lord of Change. I attack with him first. I've got 3 attacks from my sword because I've put Arcane Transformation on him earlier this turn. And I use 3 falls from my Destiny Pool to get 3 hits. And then I roll 3 dice. I get 3 2s. It's rend of 3. He's got no save, so that puts 9 damage on him. He's already taken 7, so that kills the Bloodthirster. That's fantastic. It does give him another Blood Tithe, but this Bloodthirster out of the way is a massive deal. Because he was doing all sorts of carnage to me that I did not really fancy being a part of. So that's really, really good. Happy to have him out of the way. In the combat phase, my horrors all pile around the Flesh Hound, and they do manage to slap him to death, put the final 2 wounds on, which is fantastic. So, we go to the initiative roll, and I win it, which is a brilliant time to win it. And I do some stuff. So I do cast some spells at the Blood Warriors on the left-hand side, put a couple of wounds on them, but nothing too substantial. All of my flamery stuff moves up on the right-hand side to kind of protect the Herald on disc. He can score another 2 points this turn, because he'll be on it for the second turn. Then if he can survive till the next turn, he can start really racking up points fast, and that should put me in a decent position. In terms of shooting, all of my shooting, my horrors, my Gaunt Summoner, as many flamers as could, I think it was 2 of them, shot at the Slaughter Priests in the middle, and I managed to put down 2 of them. Now that's big, because there's only 1 left, and that's the guy that's in combat, in close enough to the objective to be scoring that. So I was hoping that I could put my Lord of Change into him, kill him in combat, and take the objective off him this turn. That would be really, really good. So, my other Burning Chariots that were on the too far right to hit the Slaughter Priests, shoot at the Blood Reavers in the middle, and I do manage to put down a decent number of them. That's 9 or 10 of them go down, so that's a really good start. In the charge phase, I use Destiny Dice, and I push this guy straight into the Slaughter Priest, which is fantastic. I think I use 1 Destiny Dice of a 5 or something, and I get him in here, which is really good. And unsurprisingly, I managed to absolutely smash his head in, so that was brilliant. I only need to get 2 of my sword hits through, 2 wounds, and he doesn't get a save against it, so he goes down. And that means that all 3 of his Slaughter Priests are down. It means his Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster is down, and it means that his Herald of Khorne is down because he killed him himself, which means that in a mission that you need heroes to score, he's 5 heroes out of 6 down. So after that horrific start, I was actually looking quite good. Because the only hero he's got left to score is the Bloodsecrator, and he's probably not moving very far anytime soon. But, still, he could do some damage. So things are looking up now. So we go into his turn. And he does some movement. His Blood Reavers come forward to get ready to charge. His Korgoroth on the right-hand side kind of goes around the flank, runs to their Burning Chariot. And the Skull Reapers next to the Lord of Change pile in towards him. The Bloodsecrator does stay where he is. He doesn't try to move him forward or anything. In the charge phase, the Skull Reapers and Blood Warriors come slamming into the Lord of Change. And the Blood Reavers come slamming into the Burning Chariot. And the Korgoroth does the same and tries to wrap around to get into the Herald of Tzeentch as well. So that's a bit scary, but wasn't too bad. So, his Blood Warriors attack the Lord of Change, and they're only able to do a single wound to it, so that's pretty good. So I attack back with my Burning Chariot against the Korgoroth. And I do that because I remember it's not very good in combat, but it's still got 2 Screamers, and the Korgoroths are monsters, so I do D2 damage against it. And I do pretty well. I do 5 wounds out of 8 on it, so that's a really good start. Then he attacks with his Skull Reapers, and he's able to put 4 wounds onto the Lord of Change. I'm rolling out the box here for my arm saves, which is pretty good. I've got Mystic Shield on me, so I'm using a few Destiny dice here and there, so I'm doing really well with my saves. In the combat, his Kolgroth attacks, he only puts 2 wounds onto the Herald of Tzeentch, which is really, really good. I was worried I was going to lose him, but he rolled like cack, so... when his Blood Reavers pile into attack, they do 3 wounds to the Burning Chariot. And that's not too bad. And I attack with my Lord of Change, and I do really well. I butcher 5 of the Blood Warriors, but obviously they do get to pile in an attack, and they do 6 wounds to me this time, so that was a bit worse and a bit scarier. I do put a wound on the champion as well for all that counts as well. So yeah, not too bad overall, but that does mean I'm sort of 11, 12 wounds down, so that was a bit scary. So we go into the initiative roll-off, and I win it, which is pretty good again. I move stuff forward, I cast some spells, I kill the Kolgroth with spells from my Pink Horrors and the Herald on disc. I'm able to kill that last Blood Warrior with a spell from my Pink Horrors on the left-hand side. And my Lord of Change and the Gaunt Summoner shoot as many spells as they can into the Skull Reapers. I'm able to put a bunch of them down. I think I put all but one of them down. So that's really, really good. In the shooting phase, my Pink Horrors shoot at that final Skull Reaper. I think it might have been actually my Gaunt Summoner with his little change staff. Shot the last Skull Reaper and pinged him off. So haven't got to worry about these guys doing any more damage to me in the combat phase. And that's ideal. This bit was brutal. All 3 of my Burning Chariots shoot at the Blood Reavers and just eviscerate 1 billion of them. Yeah, after they all hit, they all wounded. I didn't even roll that well, to be honest. I hit with like 2 or 3 with each of them, wounded, failed saves, rolled well on my damage. Each one killed about 7 or 8, maybe 6, 7 or 8. 4 of them, 4 lots of that, plus the Warp Flame. The Capricious Warp Flame killed a couple, and after all said and done, there were 3 of them left. So that was pretty brutal. I figured that the rest of my guys should be able to deal with them in combat. So we go to the charge phase. My Lord of Change, my Gaunt Summoner, and the Changeling pile into the Blood Tithe. I figure I might as well put the Changeling in there. It's a couple of extra attacks, can't hurt. And my Exalted Flamer piles in here as well, just to make sure he's in combat. I attack my Lord of Change first, unsurprisingly. And he murders the Blood Tithe. It wasn't too difficult. With Ren 3 attacks, he's still only getting a 6-up save. So Blood Tithe goes down, which instantly means that he's going to fail Battle Shock with his Blood Reavers pretty hard. They pile in to try and attack, but it doesn't matter. Nothing happens, and he doesn't even get to Battle Shock. They get smushed by the Exalted Flamers, which is pretty great. So there you have it. There's the end of the game, and that was a bit brutal. Like I said, he's using most of my models, so I can probably do that little trick at the start, which I really, really liked. Having having a Bloodthirster in your face, turn 1, pretty much anywhere he can go, and then when it swaps over to your turn, he can pile in and hit again. It was maybe not used to its greatest effect in this scenario, because I only had kind of these squishy heroes, but if you think of that in a scenario where maybe there was something really tough you could pile into and get a second round of attacks against, it could be really, really cool. So I like it. I haven't really got much of an opinion on the Overseer's Fate Twisters at the moment. I got a few Destiny dice back throughout the game, which was fun, but I couldn't really use it to its full potential because I lost my Herald on turn 1. But I'm gonna keep. But I quite like how this army's built and how it works. I like having a Gaunt Summoner on disc who's a bit faster than normal. He's not as good, but he can get around. And the Lord of Change was as good as he always is. He was just an absolute combat monster in this game, though. He tore through a Bloodthirster, a Slaughter Priest, a Blood Secretor, Blood Warriors, Skull Reapers. He was doing really, really well. Enjoyed in this game. And the Changeling didn't really do much, to be honest. I probably deployed him wrong by putting him at the back rather than at the front. But hey-ho, it is what it is. I'm going to keep him in the list anyway. I like him in the list. There's not really much of choice of what else I can put in the list that's not going to be redundant, so that's why he's there, and he's doing fine. I quite like the all the burning chariots. The amount of shots I was putting out was quite brutal, so you'll probably see a bit more of that. Alright, well, thank you very much for watching. If you like the video, please leave a comment and subscribe to my channel, or you can follow me on Twitter at Moarhammer. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for another Battle Report.